Hello, everybody. I'm a couple minutes early. It's Wacky Weather Wednesday again. Oh my gosh. We're expecting insane weather again, probably they said after 2. And so far, it's just been kind of drizzly rain and super high wind gusts. Yay. They keep bumping us up in the weather risk. So now we're in a kind of a high tornado hail area. I'm ready for the storms to be done because, wow, after that last really big storm a couple years ago where we had that huge hail storm where we had everything replaced, I just don't want to go through it again. I gotta tell you, I do not want to go through it. Hi, Stephanie. I signed on early and my iPad went off right when I signed in. Like, why? Okay. So I'm trying to make it so I can see comments. There we go. Hi, Christy. Yeah, right at the moment, we are in the craft house, and I do not have any desire to run back over to my house in the crazy weather. So, you know, if it starts getting too nuts, I'm going to hang out over here, I guess. Yeah. I saw that they kind of changed the direction that the storm is heading. It looks like mostly south of us is going to get the worst of it. And let's hope that nobody really gets hammered, because this last week with the tornadoes was a lot. And we still haven't cleaned up our yard, because every time we talk about cleaning up our yard, it's going to take us a good 2 or 3 hours to clean up all the sticks and brush and branches that are everywhere from the last storm a few days ago. And we're like, well, it's just going to storm again. Let's just wait. We'll just get them all. So we keep putting it off. And then it's supposed to rain all weekend. So we're off the hook this weekend too. Anyway, why are Wednesdays like that? Isn't that weird? Have you noticed? Okay, anyway, so I bought this beautiful pack of bee paper, and I really love it. I love it. You know, I like all this bee stuff. I'm totally into it. But I was going to buy the scrapbooking workshop, and these are the layouts from the workshop. I just printed a fast picture of it. And the reason I didn't buy the workshop, it was because it's totally selfish, but I wanted more paper. Okay, I wanted all the patterns. I knew I was going to buy the paper pack no matter what. So I just bought 2 paper packs, 2 sticker sheets, and cardstock to coordinate. And I thought, well, I can figure out how to do the workshop. I got to tell you, that is a lot more work than you think. I mean, of course you can eyeball it and wing it and not worry too much about it. And I have that measuring technique where you make your own ruler. So and so I did do that, and I charted it out. Now it would have been a lot smarter on my part to just buy the workshop and a paper pack. It would have just been smarter. So here I am with all of these parts and pieces, and I don't have the exclusive papers, which makes it a little bit trickier to recreate the layouts. The other thing about the layouts that I wasn't crazy about is I don't love the pink and blue, and I don't love the yellow and green background. I don't know. There's something about the colors of those that puts me off. It's just not my taste, maybe. Thank you, Christy. That's okay. I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna make I'm gonna make this pink layout, pretty much the same. I really like it. And I have a bridal shower coming up in a couple of weeks, and these are sort of her colors, and I'm like, perfect. So I'll be able to use that layout, no problem. And this one right here, I'm gonna make, and we're gonna do it on a white background instead of green. This one, I'm not even cut out the pieces because I'm not sure yet what I would do with that yet. Okay, so this is my plan. And so I also wanted to show you, this is the retired bee pack from a couple of years ago, and then it kind of stayed online through the last year. A lot of people who have the bee paper have this pack instead of the purple one. It is the exact same layout, or the exact same patterns. They're just in a different color way. These are like reds and peaches and a different blue, more of a teal blue, where these are this petunia pop. Let me see, test myself on the colors. Okay, so bubble bath, pool party, the purple is petunia pop, the yellow is daffodil delight, and the green is old olive. Ha! Look at me. I love it. I'm slowly learning my colors, and I actually like this a lot, and I don't use much in the way of pink and purple. I just don't. I'm gonna put my sticker sheet aside for a bit while I go through what I need. So the first paper I'm gonna cut is the honeycomb print. The back of this print is a small bee, and so I'm gonna put that on my trimmer upside down. The second piece I want to cut is this petunia pop with the white flowers, and let's see, 1, 2, 3. It looks like some of the paper pack that was made for the workshop has different prints. Like there is a pale blue stripe that is not in the papers. So I'm gonna wing it and use this stripe instead. The back of that is those kind of dainty flower bunches. So I'm gonna use that as my stripe. We'll see how it goes. It may or may not work. I'm going to use this plaid instead of, they have a green plaid that they showed in the workshop, and there's no green plaid in here. So far I have got a lot of pink to cut. Let me see what else I need. I need a lighter floral, and I kind of wouldn't mind using a bee print. And so I'm considering using this really small, the back is hearts, this really small bee print as my background, since I have the honeycomb. And then, what else do I need? There is some cardstock and, oh, the exclusive paper, which I don't have. So I'm really going to change things up. And for my exclusive paper selection, I was thinking it might be nice to use, sorry, I'm grabbing them, something out of this paper pack. This is that new texture paper, and I really like adding a neutral to these. It just calms them down a little, and I can't decide between this one and the burlap. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard picking colors, Tanya. Okay, but when I put these together, This is such a bold, dark print. And look at how much that purple pops on there, right? And so that's an option. And then the other option I kind of like is the actual burlap print. And I think this is the winner. I think this may be it. So I'm not sure yet which one I'm going to use. As I go, I'm going to figure it out. So these are in my pile. Now, as far as photo mats go, I don't want pink and blue on my layouts. It feels very baby shower instead of bridal shower. But the options, I could do my base pages. I pulled some cardstock, white, crumb cake, and then the colors of the paper, like the old olive. This is pool party, and this is daffodil delight. And I thought, some of these are gonna work for photo mats for sure. Okay, let me grab the papers I'm going to cut. Where did I put them? Okay, so you can see, like, with the papers that I chose, I think some of it will depend on my photos. It may even look best just to use white, honestly. But any of these would work. I'm not crazy about the blue I don't really want to add blue into this mix. And so I'm pretty much ruling that one out. Yellow would work in a small amount. If it was the bold color that it shows, not so much. But you know, if it's just a hint around a photo, that might work. So it's a possibility. I pulled crumb cake because it is a neutral, and you know, the neutrals in my mind are kind of winning out. It needs to be, this is a lot of pattern, and every pattern I picked is kind of a small pattern. And usually when I do a scrapbook layout, I try to pick a combination of small and large, you know. So I do kind of like the calmness of adding this crumb cake, and I like the calmness of adding the green. The green would be an option as well. So there you go. I just pulled some papers out of there, and I'm only going to cut paper for layout 1 and layout 3. I have some white cardstock here as well. Let me just get my stuff together here so that I have everything that I need and stuff out of my way. I have so much stuff everywhere. All right. So I have this crazy picture from before. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is cut this small bee honeycomb print, and I've got my handy dandy chopper, and I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out for this, just so you can see my desk. And somebody remind me to zoom back in when we start doing other things. Okay, so there's no direction on the bees. There's a kind of a direction on the honeycomb, because they're a little bit oblong, but I don't think it'll be noticeable. So the very first thing we're going to do is cut some 2x2 squares. So I am on my trimmer. This is at the 12-inch mark. I'm going to move it to 10 so that I can cut some 2-inch squares. And these will be a bunch of 2-inch 2x2s. Then I need to cut an 8-inch I'm gonna cut 8 inches and I'm gonna rotate and cut 4 3/4. Okay, so this piece I just trimmed goes in layout number 2, and I'm just going to put it in a pile above my trimmer so that I have it. And then this piece that I cut as a 2-inch strip, we're going to cut that into 5 2-inch squares. So I have it at 12. I'm going to move it to 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. So we end up with all these squares. And these will be for layout number 1, because you saw the layout. It's like a bunch of squares. And we'll use the fronts and the backs. Okay, and then with the piece that we have left, we need to cut a 4 by 6.5 photo mat. 4 by 6.5. And then this is supposed to be a 4 by 4. And I'm not totally sure what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna put this in layout 2. And so the photo, this little 4 by 4 right here, I'm gonna hold off on that just for a moment. Okay, now we're going into the Petunia Pop color, and we're gonna cut a bunch more 2 by 2 squares. So I'm gonna cut this at 10, and I'm gonna cut it again. Oh, it's on the back of that. And we're just gonna do this right now. And then this, we're gonna cut it 2 3/4. So I went from 10 down to 8 and 1 2 3/4. Okay. And then we are going to need a 4 by 4 square out of this. So I'm gonna just go ahead and cut a 4 by 4. So this 4 by 4 square goes in layout 1. And then this 2 3/4, we're gonna cut 2. We're gonna cut a 4-inch piece out of that. And it goes in layout 2. And I think I'm gonna go with the stripe on the other one. And then we need a bunch of 2-inch, 2, 2, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3 2-inch pieces. 1, 2, 3. And these will be in layout number 1. And we need a stripe. The reason I'm cutting it so weirdly is because in the workshop, the paper has the Petunia Pop and the stripe on the same paper. So this, you know, it's just different. So I'm just cutting my stripe, going horizontally, and I need a couple of 4 by 4 pieces. I need 2 of those. And these 2 stripes are going number 1. And let's see, I may use one of the flowers in number 1 too. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna put it there for now. Okay, and then in the stripe, we need a bunch of 2 by 2 squares. So I'm gonna cut one more strip of 2 inches, and we're gonna go down the line again. 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. So we have this stack of 6 stripy pieces that'll all go in number 1. Okay, and now we go to what in the workshop is like a green plaid, and I'm like, oh, I got a plaid, it's just a different color, and the back of it is the giant bees carrying hearts, but we're just going to use the plaid anyway, so we don't have to worry about what direction the bees go. So I'm just going to cut this at 9 1/4. That way I'll have a big strip of horizontal bees. left. That was my plan. And then we need a 6-inch piece. This 6 by 9 1/4 will go into layout 3. And then we have a 6 by 7 1/2 piece that goes in layout 3. I said I wasn't going to cut any of layout 2, but I did cut a couple of pieces in layout 2. It's not that I don't want to make that layout, it's that I don't know what color I'm going to make that layout background. And I may tweak a couple of the patterns. So, okay, now this is also a stripe, and it is for layout 3. I think I only got one stripe out. Just a second. It's so hard to adjust your papers to a workshop. It really does help if you plan ahead. Unlike me, this week has been cray-cray because I have not been planning ahead. Okay, on this horizontal stripe, we're actually, it says we're using the other side, which is the pop. Oh, well, that's easier. They want the Petunia Pop bright color. If I can find it, there we go. We're gonna flip it to that, so. Okay. We need 3 1/2. So I'm going from 12 to 8 1/2. We need another 3 1/2. So 1, 2, 3 1/2. That takes us to 5. And I know from that other piece, we need a 4 by 4 that I didn't cut. Sorry, not trying to confuse, but this 4 by 4 goes in layout 1 instead of the flower. And this is extra. I'm gonna have a great card stash thing here, like a card stash buster. This one, that 3 1/2 we're gonna cut it at 8 1/4. This goes in layout 3. And then this one we're going to cut at 6 1/2. And it's going to go in layout 3. These are extra pieces. I got a lot of things to go in the stash right now. Okay. The other thing that goes in layout 3, okay, one of the things, what we're cutting here on these long strips down here is these long stripes. So we already cut the check in the background, and it is that Petunia Pop instead of green. And we've already cut the Petunia Pop little flowers. So see that pink piece right there? That's what we need to cut. And I think I have plenty of the Petunia Pop. And so I need to calm it down with something. And I thought it would be really cute to use the little bees across that. We'll see. We'll see how that works. And so I'm just gonna go for it, because I really like how it looks. So this is 3 1/2 by 11. So we're going to do 3 1/2 and make it 11 inches. And that goes in layout 3. See, I could always flip it and use hearts even if I wanted to. That's a lot of pink. I gotta tell you, I don't use that much pink. And then we need a 3 1/2 by 8 1/2. So I'm going to cut it at 5 and 8 1/2. And so now we'll have bees going across the page. That opens it up a little bit to some more decorating, you know. Okay. Now we need these big pieces right here that are in the background. And I am kind of wondering if this might be a good option. So we have, well, if we have maybe a white page and we have this burlap in the background, and then these will be going, you know, like across the page. I kind of like this idea because it'll calm down some of the pink, and I'll have some options for photo mats. And it'll be springy without being too girly. I mean, this is really girly. All this purple and pink. I have almost all girls in my family. You would think I would be happy doing girly papers, but the back of this one is this. I don't care for that so much. I can see how it would be really nice to use, and it looks like no matter what, I'll end up with one long strip of it sideways or whatever. I always look at that before I cut, because I want to know what I'm going to have left over. Maybe I'll need it horizontal, maybe I'll need it vertical, and I would rather have it horizontal. So I'm going to make my first cut at 10 1/4, so that this piece that falls off is this pattern horizontal. So I can use the burlap, or I'll have this piece this way. I did that on purpose. And now I'm going to turn, and we need a 6-inch piece, and that goes in layout 3, and then we need a 4 3/4 piece, and that goes in layout 3. All right, we are to the white. Now, there is a specialty exclusive paper that comes in this pack that I think would be perfect if we used the burlap, or crumb cake, or even like a yellow or something. It's this, hold on a minute, I'll show you. In the squares, it's the blue square, a blue stripe, pool party square. So we're gonna need, you know, at least 4 of them. They call for 5. I'm not sure where that other one is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4, unless it's the flower. Oh, we could do a flower. A flower would be really nice. Let's do a flower. Let me grab my paper. How about I use my leftover, we could use this flower, or we could use a bee. The bee would be nice too. Let's use this flower. It's nice. All right, we're gonna make some 2-inch squares. They need to be vertical. Of course, if you're making 2 by 2, I guess it's not gonna matter much. So I'm gonna go from 12 to 10 and 8 and 6 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I think there was 5 of those. All right. Yeah, I think this will look really nice with that. Okay. And then we are into the piece that goes over in the background, 11 by 11. And I like it white, but I want to use this really badly and put my squares on it. So I'm going to cut this 11 by 11. I love this paper. I think it's great. And the other piece is for the right hand side, and it's 9 1/4 by 9 1/4, and I think I want it to match. So let me grab that other paper that matches it. Did I think about grabbing both of them? No, I did not. Let's see. This is the back of this paper. And there's the front. I want to make sure when I put it on the page that this definitely is directional. I definitely want to make sure you know, I put it the same direction on both pages. Now these are both squares. I just have to remember. One of you guys will have to shout out if I screw that up. 9 1/4 by 9 1/4. So 9 1/4, 9 1/4. Now here is another example of where you could have made a decision about which cut to make first. You know, this is one of those things, you know, I have a tendency to use my patterns more horizontally than vertical. I don't know why, but I do. And so if I have a choice, I probably should have cut this one first so that I would have a full 12-inch horizontal. Now I have a full 12-inch going vertical. It's okay. If I'm going to use it for cards and stuff, it'll be fine. And look at the back. Isn't that cool? It's like one of those big baskets that you see that are braided. Okay. And now we're into photo mats and things. And I think I'm going to go with crumb cake. I'm into the neutral. I need that. So the first piece I'm going to cut at 4 1/4, and we're going to cut this at 6 1/4, and this will go in number 3. And then this piece, we need it at, it's 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So it's just one of those little, you know, photo mats. And then we need a 8 3/8, yay, by 6 1/4. Why did they do that? Okay, 8 and 1, 2, 3 8s. And we're gonna rotate and cut that at 6 1/4. And that piece will go into number 2. That's the one I wasn't sure about. I probably should have waited to cut that. Okay, we have one more piece of crumb cake for layout 1 and one for layout 2 and one for layout 3. So now this is where they used Pool Party, brighten it up, but I'm just gonna go for this. We're gonna do 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. You know, I'm not worried about using up my paper. I love using my paper. It makes me happy. That goes in layout 3. And then this one will be, we're gonna do a 6 1/2 by 6 1/2 for layout 2. See, layout 2 I'm gonna do later, and I may recut that a different color. I don't know. I'll just have this as an option. 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, that obviously is a photo mat, and that goes in layout 1. So we basically cut all of our pieces, and I have a lot of scrap left over, plus all the all the pages. So I can make a batch of cards in a blink, and I don't think that I'm going to use this green. Not for these two layouts anyway. So I'm gonna set that aside. Okay, I have a bunch of white, Whisper White, and these will be, okay, is it time to zoom back in just a little bit? Okay, how is everyone doing today? Okay, one of the reasons I sound so frantic and crazy is because I went and got my eyes dilated today, and they always check everything, you know. And I got home like right when it started to rain, and then of course I had to come over here and get Moose ready, and I always let him pick his treat while I go live, and it was just like, I felt like I was running around like a maniac. So, all right, I have it all going the same direction. This will go here, this will go here. I like this color. I don't know. I may have to use a different color background, but we'll see. We'll see. Now over here, we have 4 squares. Now see, I told you I needed another square. Where did I put it? I don't know. It's probably stuck to something. Hold on. I'll probably do another stripe here. That makes sense. I don't know where it's at right now. It flew off my table is what happened. It's across the room somewhere. Okay, and then I've got my little 2x2 squares here. And we're gonna make this around here. So, let's see. So we have a stripe here, we have a stripe here, and we have a stripe in the corner. And then there's another stripe like right, 1, 2, 3, like here. Okay. And then we have our pink. Now remember, when you do these, you can rearrange them any way you want. You can cut more of certain colors. Looks like I could use more of those. Here's the green honeycomb. Wow, that, you know, I was just thinking that those colors pop on that dark. I do like that. Okay, and then we have one over here. And then we have this cute little flower that we cut. The other side is a stripe. I think we need at least one of the cute little flower. And, you know, kind of balance. And the other side of the honeycomb is the bees. And I'm thinking about putting one down here and one up here. I like those little bees. They're so cute. All right, and then I need to cut some pink. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, sorry, my stuff landed on the floor. Okay. Anyway, so while I was getting my eyes done, Steve kept texting me while I was in the office, and I was trying not to answer anything because, you know, it's like when you're paying to go to a doctor, you guys know, it costs a lot of money, and you don't want to sit there and waste the doctor's time while you're messing around with your phone. And he finally, Dr. Johnson, he cracks me up. But he was kind of finally like, you know, you should probably just see who that is, just in case it's important or something. And of course it was Steve, and he was messing around with the, trying to get our washer fixed. So, okay. Nobody wants to fix Samsung. This is what I've learned. Nobody wants to fix it. I think that could be white. Look at that. Let's see. Let me get my placeholders out. Nice. Okay, I like that. I kind of like the idea of taking a petunia pop and cutting it just like this is an 11 by 11. And what if I cut it to, you know, 11 1/4 by 11 1/4 and gut it and make a border on there. Let me see if I have any of that. That's an odd color for me. But I have it. So if I, you know what I'm saying, like, just add a little smidgen of it around, you know, like around the border. Nice. That might be a good place for green too. Votes, anybody? Do you want Petunia Pop? Do you think it looks better with green? Gosh, that's good too. Okay, well, I'm looking at this border up here like an 1/8 inch all around. So not much showing, but just enough to add a little color. I really do like that a lot. Wow, neato, right? I need a 4-inch stripe. Look at me. I'm sitting here messing around with there, just to get the drift. That is the layout. That is it. And then basically what they did was they took the little bee, like one little bee over here with the words better together right here, across here, and the little blue honeycomb, which I would not use. I'd probably use the pink one. And I don't know if I would use better together. I might use beautiful life, actually, because you can kind of see how that would look. I don't know. I gotta think about that. I gotta think about it a minute. It's not that I don't like the color of better together. I don't like the words better together. Hey, Heather, it says better together. Do you see that? It looks great in that color. I might make my own type. I could tweak this where it just says together. And that would be great for that bridal shower, because it's going to be a family bridal shower, and I know there will be family pictures. That's a great layout. There's some, so there will be, 4 photos here and a couple more little bee stickers and some hearts. The hearts were probably part of the die cut sheet that came with the workshop, so I would have to make my own embellishments on that one. All right. Am I still showing up? I had like a weird flash of power surge or something. You know what else would look really great on this is ribbon or white twine. Okay, I'm totally gonna do that. All right, there's layout 1. I'm setting it aside. When I go off camera, I'm totally going to do that. Now, layout 2, I talked about doing on white. So I got a couple more sheets of white. Actually, this is layout 3. This is layout 3. This is the green. This is the green layout. I stopped getting messages from anyone. So if you're on, if you could just say hello. Hello. All right. So here is how this one's gonna go. Let's just kind of sort things just a little bit. We have these big pieces. This one will go here. This one will go here. I love the burlap kind of anchoring the page as a neutral, because this is a lot of color. And it looks like the longer pieces go on this side. And I did not do any measurements or anything. I'm just gonna make it look good. So what I want is it to flow across the page from one side to another. And I want enough of the burlap to show, because I chose that in particular burlap. And then I love these little bees, and this will go here. And I want it to go across the page, like it'll flow. And then we have our flowers that will go at the bottom, like that. And it looks like they have some of that showing. Okay, so there is the layout. They used a large photo here. And then they have a photo up here and a photo down here, like this. I'm not sure about the crumb cake. I think that needs to be a color. Or I could double matte. That's a possibility too. Because, you know, once you add, you know, a photo on to these little, once you add photos in place on here, it really does change the whole look of things. Like here's my 4x6 placeholder. But see how that would, you could even use that as a crumb cake mat and then a second mat of white. And then, I don't know if I have another placeholder out. I have a lot of little ones, but I don't think I have a really big one out. But I would probably just, you know, cut a 4x6 and I would put a petunia pop colored mat around it because it needs that. And then this is a great page to ink and play. And I actually really like this Be Happy. I really like this Be Happy. And so I think this is an opportunity to use the Pool Party ink to, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That's why I was like, well, I could add a little bit of the Pool Party to it as a matte, but you know, just picture a little bit of that. If this was this color instead, it might be too much. See, I don't like adding too much blue. So I'm definitely leaning towards the Petunia Pop as a small border around my photos. Maybe between the crumb cake, like a little bigger than the crumb cake. Right there. I don't know, we'll see. I'll mess with that a little bit. I think that'll be a great idea. As far as stickers go, these little flowers are die cuts that came in the workshop kit. And then these are stickers from the sticker sheet. So we can add bees to it. I'm very tempted to get out some of the bee stamps. There are some amazing stamps in that set. And let's see if I can find them. I have them buried. They are buried in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. So the Be My Valentine, this is a weird little nugget. The Be My Valentine was retired, and you might know the new one was called Meant to Be, and it was almost the same, just a little bit different, but this particular one made it into the new catalog that starts in May. So if you like this, you'll definitely be able to get it. And the little punch, because the paper punch was part of Celebration as a freebie bonus. And I was like, well, I don't want to start buying punches, but this particular one makes the bees. I know I'll keep it and use it. So it's in the catalog as well. And don't you love the idea of using that little honeycomb? And there's a heart, so I can figure that out. And I think if I ink some glacier around here and here, and maybe a little bit there, and then put just a few little messages, you know, on my paper strips, I think it's going to look fabulous. So this is my plan. This is my plan. And I really like this. I'm tempted to add this strip right here as one of the strips. You know how it pokes out? See how that would look if you add a sticker onto each side? You don't have to use a whole strip. You can just make a little bit poke out over here and make it poke out over here, and it will look like it's going the whole amount. Same way with over here, and then a little bit over here, and then you'll have that punch of blue without adding a whole lot of the pool party. Think about that. Yeah. I like the pool party. I got to play around with it a little bit. I'm going to have to cut it down. I'm going to have to play with it. Because if I'm going to ink using pool party, I think the mats may be a little much. But I do like the idea of adding the sticker. So I don't want to add green to this layout. I have that other green layout. All right, so that is what I'm working on today. I am going to finish these pages, and I'll post these on Facebook for you guys to see. Now, just as a message, I have already started getting removal messages from Facebook. I am almost completely caught up moving my videos from Facebook to YouTube, or copying them to YouTube. I have, I think, 4 more months left to do, and I'm caught up, which is not too bad when you think of, you know, there's like 2 a week. So I don't have too many more. I may do that while it's storming, because then I'm going to be kind of caught at home anyway. And then as long as we don't lose power, I guess. We lost power twice the other day. Ugh. And anyway, so those videos are starting to be moved, but what the ones I'm getting the messages for are the ones I did 1 month ago, like the end of February, the beginning of March. Those are the ones that are starting to be deleted. I am moving those to Facebook as I go, and it is something to try to keep up with that, but I'm going to keep doing that. So if you missed a video and it disappears from the Facebook group, go to my YouTube page. It will be there. The only ones I'm not transferring over are, you know, I have a few videos where I like show you all the stuff I buy from Daisy Lane, or all the stuff from my Crop and Create event, or whatever. They're not exactly things that you would go back to over and over again. I may not move all of those. You guys let me know if you feel like those are ones you really want to see again. Bonnie, hi. Hey, are you going to the Peoria event? Did you sign up for that? I'm curious how many people signed up for the Peoria demonstrator event, because they said it was sold out and there's 120 people going. And I thought, well, surely there are people from Champaign-Urbana area going. So what else? What other news? Okay, the last chance stuff. Oh my gosh, I've been going through that. I love finding deals and discounts. I have a suspicion that I think the price, I don't know. Not everything was discounted, and not everything, some of that will be around for a while. And they'll end up either having to discount it, or they'll just decide to carry it again. I don't know. They said, they made it very clear that once it goes into that last chance, that is it. It is not being reordered. But I don't know why they wouldn't discount it. Yes, I'm so happy that you did this workshop at home. And I always like tweaking them up just a little bit to the photos I know I'll use. Like, I love doing spring photos and stuff, but I don't have a lot of pink. I don't have a lot of need for pink. So taking that pink away kind of made, I could add a little pink instead of green. I could put pink around that and it wouldn't be too overwhelming. I would be able to do that. But I love the layout that you can do it with other papers. You can tweak it to be what you want, and you can use it with other paper packs. It's a great design. I mean, look at this. This is a basic layout, and you could totally do that with another entirely different paper pack and get an entirely different look. And, it would look amazing. So, yeah, I love those workshops. Okay. I don't see any questions or anything, any comments about YouTube or Facebook or anything. So message me or put comments on here. If you have an opinion, you'd like to see something done a certain way. I'm trying really, really hard to make my videos more searchable than Facebook was terrible about that. And YouTube is very much easier to search for things. So I'm trying very hard to put things in a way that you might be able to find them again. So, yeah, just let me know. All right. And after the event in Peoria, I will show you the scrapbooking layout that I'm doing for my presentation. As a matter of fact, I could even just do my presentation for you on here and show you all the different layouts that I'm creating for that event. I'm furiously building layouts like crazy. This weekend, I'm going to Daisy Lane. I won't be live on Friday unless I pop on here when we get home and show you like my finds. I know a lot of you like to see what I find out there, and I like to show it. It's kind of fun. So just let me know what you would like to see. All right. Have a nice afternoon. Oh my gosh, I'm looking out. The sun is out, you guys. The sun is out. See, we're not going to get weather. It'll be fine. All right. Have a good afternoon and a good weekend. Bye-bye.